everyone, I'm Codename Emo, I'm a music producer, and today I'm going to be showing you the basics of how to use BandLab. This will be from learning how to record your own sounds, to experimenting with loops and sound packs, and just generally getting to know how the software works. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. So first things first, this is what BandLab actually looks like on the screen. So when you search on bandlab.com, you may be prompted to sign in or to create an account with them. This is completely free and it's completely accessible, which is why I love using it, because you don't have to pay anything and you can access it on whatever device you want. You can use it on your iPad, you can use it on your phone, you can use it on Apple devices, on laptops and computers, etc. So it's a generally brilliant software. But as far as getting to know the software itself, it's relatively simple. Once you've signed in or created an account, I just used my personal Google account, but I will work to edit this to make it a bit more professional for my music, which I enjoy making in my spare time. But you will be taken to the feed, which is, as you can see, the feed is where people share their music and you can make comments on it, you can share it with other people, and anybody can listen to your music if you want them to. But of course you are given this option, you don't have to actually do this. I personally myself have never done this before, but I think it would be great. You can follow people as well if you wish. If you go onto the explore page, you can explore different things. You've got different music genres here. My genres of music tend to be rock, pop or electronic, a bit like electronic dance music. But as you can see, you can explore different things, so there's different opportunities that can come up, which I think is quite great if you are just starting out in the music industry and you know you want to get your music out there, or there are opportunities that you can take. Now with the membership here, you do have to pay for the membership with BandLab. I personally do not do that because I prefer to just use the software without having to pay, because there doesn't seem to be much of a limit with not paying. So that's great. And then you've got your services. I've not done this, so that's a bit blank here. And the library is where you'll find all of your music. As you can see all of the things I've been working on. And it saves all of your projects. You can come back to it anytime. If you collaborated, then your collaborations will show here. I haven't done any collaborations, which is why that will most likely be blank. Also, please ignore any of the pop-ups that show up on the screen. I am screen recording now to be able to show you how this all works. But as far as getting to making the actual songs work, this little, as you can see, there is a little create option here in the top right corner in red. And if you click that, you will be given either the option of a new project or a song starter, which uses AI to generate a starter song for you to give you an idea of how it works. I have only ever used it once and very briefly, but I tend to start a new project that's completely blank. So once you click into that, you'll get this screen show up and you'll be prompted to select either some templates here. Here you go, get inspired by our created templates for entire songs. So you can choose either templates or you can add your own input with instruments, samplers, bass guitars, drum machines, which allow you to generate your own drum beats yourself. Or you've got voice or audio, which is what I tend to use just to start off the song. So if you click into that, you'll be given this page here. Now, this page, as you can see, this line as I'm talking is picking up my audio. That's because my microphone on my computer is on. And if you record an audio, if you click this button here, this is how you record things, by the way. But if you record an audio, then you can experiment on different things. You can make a weird robot sound if you wanted, you can have a duet sound if you wanted, you can have harmonies in if you wanted. I personally think harmonies would be great if I because some songs I'm hoping to do require a bit of harmonising. Although in an honest opinion, I haven't actually tried this out, but I do know how it works from using other software such as Logic Pro X. But when you come to using this software to experiment, do feel free to experiment with these different things just to see what you like. And this little plus button here, excuse the glitchy cursor, I'm not sure why it's doing that. But if you click this little plus button in the corner, this will let you add a new track or a new input, as I've been taught you call them. And this will add a second input to be able to add various different sounds. You can also rename them by clicking these three buttons here, which will open a little menu. And if you click rename, it will highlight it and you can rename it to whatever you like. I'm just going to call it audio. And then the one underneath, let's just call it audio 2/loop. And then if you click enter, there you have your renamed input, and you've got different colour options. It's best for me, I find it as great to rename things properly so that you know what's what, and to colour code them so you don't get confused. Also ignore the TV in the background. So when it comes to making the songs itself, I like to start off with a loop. And you may be wondering, what are you going on about? Where are these so-called loops? Well, if you look at the bottom menu here where my cursor is showing, you'll be given the option to add lyrics or notes. You can add these yourself, and then you can type that. I know that's quite random, but you can type whatever you need to write down. So if you have lyric ideas, you could even note them here on the side, and they will stay there as long as you want them to. And then you've got BandLab sounds, which is where I like to start off my tracks, as I have said. They're sound packs. You can have loops here, or you can have one shots, which are just one sound that only lasts about 3 seconds. But I like to start off with a sound pack, and you can search whatever genre you like. Now for me, I have been working more recently on rock sound packs, and then you've got a whole list here. That list is probably as long as my arm, probably even longer, you never know. But then you've got different packs, and if you hover over the sound pack, you can take a listen. And then if you click into the sound pack itself, like I've just done, you get a whole list here. Now, one thing I'd like you to focus on very briefly is this little section here. The BPM is just a fancy way of saying beats per minute, and that's just a fancy way of saying how fast the track will play. So right now this is set to 120. They usually set that by default. But you can change it as you wish if you hover over it and then just go up or down. So if we keep it at 120, and if you scroll down here to find a sound, so let's say this one. if you drag, you just drag whichever one you want. Make sure that you do have an input to drag it into, because if not, you are not able to, or it will just add another input automatically. I like to just start off. So if you put that in, it will prompt you to set it to whatever key you wish. This is set to G minor because that's what it's playing in. And if you click set, focus on this here, watch how it changes. Well, it's usually supposed to change it automatically, but if you do this, so it will ask you to adjust it, and then it will play it as you wish it to be played. Now, another thing that I think is great is that you can adjust this to either loop continuously, that's the wrong button, you can choose it to loop continuously, or to drag it along like this to either shorten it or make it longer. I like to loop it about 4 bars, 4 to 8 bars, just to get a good idea going. But just look for this is the cursor here, and when you drag it over, just look for where it comes across like that, 2 arrows at either end, and then you can drag it across like this. So if you play it, then you no longer have to repeat it here. This option allows you to repeat one specific section, so if you click repeat there, it will just repeat the first part here, which is highlighted in red. Again, you can make that longer so that it loops a certain part of it, or you can make it shorter. And this lets you record. So if I did this and then record, it will let you testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. As you can see, let you testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now, of course, I'm not going to have a song that says testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's what I tend to say when I'm testing out the audio. And if you backspace on your keyboard, you can delete that, and then you can redo it if you need to. Now there is another option as well. There are some other options. I can't access all of them because I've got this little pop-up that's here showing where I am on the screen. But if I hover over it, you can, there you go, that says add track, and then you've got all of these different options here. So as you can see, this records. That's to play it from the beginning, but you can also, if it plays to a certain point, you can also drag it to, say, here, or you can press enter on your keyboard and it will play the track right the way back to the beginning. And then this will let you play the track itself, as you can see. Now where it says new project, you can rename this. So instead of new project, let's just call this rock sample. And then you can save here. It's always best to save in case anything goes wrong. And it will save it. And then the next time you open BandLab, it will reopen your track and show up a little project saved screen here. So as far as songs go, you've got your starter sound, and then you can add whatever you want to add. So if you add sounds and you go drums, even whatever drums you want, you can listen to the drums, see if they sound right. Now I like the sound of that. So again, you select which input you want, and then you can drag it in. Now I like to let it play at least 4 times and then add a bit of a build up. At this point I usually add a bass first and then add my drums in afterwards, but to make things a little bit quicker and simpler, I'm just going to play it from here. If you drag this at the bottom, it will play back to the beginning. And then if you press enter on your keyboard, it will play the song. Whoops, that's sorry, I'm just trying to turn my volume up on my laptop. That's fine. But you guys will hear this so much better when you try it out for yourself. But as you can see, it will play your song, and then there you have it. There you go. Now, one thing I've been told to note is that whenever you add a loop of sounds on a track, if you, like me, like to use some sounds just to get things started, is take a look at the beats per minute at the side of each loop and make sure it matches with what you've got it set to. Now when you do drag a sound in from the loop section and put it into here, you will get, usually it will prompt to set it the same tempo, or usually you will have to change it yourself to match the speed of the track just to get it in time. But as long as you have it set to whatever you need it to be set to, that is fine. So if I close this, oh, there we go. So if I go off here and I exit, I'm going to show you a song that I have not shown you. I'm going to show you a song that I have been working on. So if I scroll if I go into my library, let me show you a song that I have done doing a similar thing. Now this here is no longer called Edgy Rock Track. If you click studio as well to songs you've created, you can edit them as you wish. But this song has now got a name. It's now called What Goes On Inside. But this line here, by the way, is just where you can fade in, but we will talk through that a bit further. But this is a track I've been working on. This creates a build up, and then this is where I'm going to be having lyrics, by the way, but you can see where inputs have been added in. And this here, by the way, you've got a minus and then you've got a plus next to it, but that can zoom it all out so you can see all of the track. Now I've added a lot of inputs, and this is what I mean in terms of making sure that you have labelled things well. So as I showed earlier with renaming your inputs and colour coding them, just make sure the colour code is so that you know what is what. But as long as you experiment, as long as you experiment with what you've got, just experiment with the different sounds. The sounds here, as just a bit of a recap, the sounds, if you want some sound packs that loop like that, continuously, then you just go into the BandLab sounds section here and then search for, if you want an R&B genre, then you can select R&B or type R&B and you'll find that. If you want a pop genre, you can find a pop sound pack, or if you want a rock sound pack like what I do, you can search a rock sound pack and then that will work. And you can do whatever you wish. There is of course the option to publish your songs. Personally, I have not published any of these. Let's just rename that to and because this is instrumental, I will call that instrumental. It will save, and then you have the option to publish, and you can put a description, you can put genre. So if rock is here somewhere, I think it should be, there we go, rock. You can type a bit of a description. If you want it to be public, you can have it public, so if you tick that, it will publicly share it. If you don't want it published so that everybody can see it, then you don't have to have that. I will work on this at a later point because this track is actually released. It's on SoundCloud at the moment, and I can give everybody, I can provide a SoundCloud link should you need it, but yeah, aside from that, I believe I have covered the basics. Now, of course, you can do a lot more on BandLab than you might think. But I have just covered the basics, but I really hope this has helped. So I hope you enjoyed this. So there you go, there's your tutorial. Let's go and make some music.